The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Gravy Wheels. You know me, obviously, and I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I've actually had multiple circles of friends, both online and from high school and stuff, that I've kind of brought up the idea of doing a podcast, and it's kind of not really gone anywhere, obviously, because you've never seen one from me. But I have a group of friends here with me today, Andrew and Frank, that here in a second I'm going to let them introduce themselves and give a little bit of a backstory on how we all met and everything. But long story short, we have started Gravy Wheels. And before I get too far, I want you guys to know that we have started a brand new YouTube channel, Twitter account, Facebook, Instagram. As I say this, that's actually a bold-faced lie. But all those links, by the time you guys are listening to this, will be in the description. Yeah, and go over there, check those things out. The plan for now is to be uploading it here on my channel, but eventually we will probably wean off of that once we get some people that are interested in listening to us idiots talk. And yeah, so that's the whole thing. So I guess first, Andrew, say hello.
Hi, it's me. You know me. No, you don't.
I know you.
Well, yeah, you know me a little bit. We've, yeah. You met me when I was, what, 16, 17, probably?
Junior year, apparently, right?
Junior year of high school.
17, if you
Yes.
know
That's right.
what I mean.
And I was forced to leave my beloved home of Kansas City and move out to the middle of nowhere.
And
Or
when he
sadly.
says that, he really means
mean.
that. Really means that. People don't understand. Whenever I say that I'm from a small town, it really means that I'm from a small town. I mean, there was, I think, 28 or something like that. Maybe one of you guys know, in our graduating class. I think something like that. It was like right around 30.
Your graduating class.
Ooh, awkward. Yeah. So.
No, I remember pulling into that town for the first time and seeing the population sign said something like 275 people.
Less than that, but yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
there were two of them,
you're
and they
right.
had there were two signs. There was one on either end of the town, and each one had conflicting information. But either that's
how small. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you came from, was it just where exactly?
Yeah.
I
came
mean,
from
not
Kansas City,
exactly.
Missouri.
Don't give me your address, but
Well, I lived in I lived yeah, in Kansas City, in north of the river. So in the
in a van.
yeah, in a van
Yeah.
on the north side of the river.
Right. So just much bigger school.
Yeah, much bigger school, but also like we had things like stores and a gas station that was open more than
Right.
one day a week.
It's true.
We did have a store, but I mean, there wasn't really anything there. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of
You could
had
get
a
gas.
store.
Yeah, you can get watered down gas, cans of pork and beans, ramen
Expired.
noodles.
Probably came from like whatever that place is where you go and just get the free food that all the stores throw away.
But the Busch
They
Light
would
and Natural
resell it.
Light was always fresh. But yeah,
That's all that mattered. Yeah. So that's Frank, or I mean, that's Andrew, I
Yeah,
guess.
That's
and
me. And then that other voice.
yeah, Frank.
uh,
Frank. Whew. Go ahead, man. Frank needs no introduction, but also really
The sound of-
does.
The sound of beer cracking. In the
That's all you
background.
need to know right there.
it's not a beer. Anyways, my name is Frank. You'll get to know me.
Oh God, will you get to know Frank? We apologize in advance, Andrew and I.
I was born and raised in Missouri, put it that way, in the middle of nowhere, literally in the middle of nowhere. And then Joey moved in, and we were good friends.
I guess
and-
that's true. Technically, you're the OG of this,
yeah,
right?
Joey's.
That's something they're gonna have to get used to as well. Whenever he's saying Joey, that's me, by the way, guys.
Yeah, why didn't you
exposed.
introduce your own self?
Well, they know me. I'm Joe, Jehovah. Most people these days call me Joe or Jehovah in every realm of life I'm used to. But a lot of my old school friends, like these guys, still call me Joey. Some of my family still calls me Joey too.
It's true. That's,
I
that's
didn't
the
know
only
that-
way I've ever. The only
So
way
you
I've ever
prefer
known
Joe
you.
now?
Well, the thing
prefer
is
Joey?
that think about it. The only reason I didn't go by Joe is because in the class of 30 that we had, there was 2 fucking Joes. There's 2 Josephs.
There was a big guy Joe, and there was a
Big Joe and Little Joe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I was Joey. I really didn't like it or dislike it at the time. I just think, the older I got, I was like, Joe's better.
Okay.
But anyways, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Small town living in a lonely world of corn and soybean, and then
Which I
worked at I worked at a university for about 10, 11 years after high school. 10 years, 10 months. And then I ended up in Kansas City. Not really Kansas City, but yeah.
The area.
There we go. Yeah.
And then
mechanic.
Yeah, he's the all around he's the all around guy. He's the guy that if anything happens at the bowling alley, he gets the call. And I guess Andrew, you didn't go over where you ended up and what you're currently doing.
That's a good point. I moved around a little bit after high school, and then long story short, got married, had a child, and ended up in Brooklyn. I live in New York right now. That's where I'm doing this from.
Which was fun a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously during this whole like pandemic type situation, we've been juggling things and moving around. So we came back to Kansas for a little bit, like stay with some family, stay with my wife's relatives, and
explain, because there's going to be some really upset snowflakes if you don't explain that you self-quarantined before.
Oh, yes, I did. I mean, when we came back to Kansas, we rented an Airbnb and we stayed there for 2 full weeks, being totally responsible. Just hold up, would only go to like the grocery store when we needed to and all that, just to make sure, we're taking shit seriously.
Right. But you're back now.
We're back now. We're set up. Yeah, trying to get things back on the rails.
Didn't they send like a destroyer to New York City for like a mobile hospital?
I remember reading that. Yeah, I mean, I don't see it when
insane.
I look out my window, but
that'd be really cool. It's like a battleship, like an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, I wish I had water in my window. That'd be great.
Right. So, again, this is our podcast, obviously, but this whole idea kind of came. This is weird. So I think we also have to kind of explain that we didn't really talk for like all 3 of us for like almost a decade, if not a decade. I mean, I'm not exactly sure where the math is there, but it kind of...
It's a good estimate, though.
A couple months ago, I mean, I don't think any of us were really talking. I mean, I talked to Frank here and there. I don't really remember. Yeah, we talked a few years ago. I think we connected again on Facebook and, caught up a little bit and then just kind of fell back into our lives and whatever. But then we've all just started talking within the last couple months. Because funny enough, actually, you Andrew hit me up because of a little meme, the Uno meme. I think his exact word, maybe not his exact words, but he hit me up on Facebook or whatever, and he's like, dude, did you ask me? I don't remember. Basically,
I think I might have just sent it to you, and I was like, so I was enjoying.
I think you verified or something. Yeah, you're like, is this you?
I was like, I was enjoying this little bit of content that I had seen, and it was like something that I had seen that Uno clip get turned into a whole bunch of different things, and like had been done by different voice actors, and like.
That's right. You did you linked like a specific one to me. It was like Castlevania or something. I think.
Yeah, there was a specific Castlevania one that
I
liked and like thought it was hysterical, and then I was like, so one day I was at home and I was just trying to figure out what the origin was, because it's like I love tracking down like how memes start.
Right.
And finding out that it was my fucking friend from high school whose voice I was actually hearing like doing this ranting was like, I felt like that was a pretty good signal that I should probably like reach out to him.
I mean, yeah, that's such a fucking random thing. It's crazy. And then Frank and we reconnected a little bit, probably mostly because, again, I think we had talked a couple times here and there over the last, decade or whatever, but nothing too crazy. And then all of a sudden we ended up going to a mutual friend's bachelor party last summer. And through that, you know, I think through that, like, not to get all ushy-gushy, but I was like, man, I miss hanging out with Frank. Like, you know, we were, like, really close friends in high school. And, yeah, I just kind of wanted to... And it was weird because I remember at one point specifically, I was on Facebook talking to Frank. And I was also talking to Andrew at the same time. And I'm like, why the fuck am I, like, having, you know, separate conversations, catching up? I was like, we just need to make a group chat. And I just did it. And then from there, you know, we've been trying to keep in touch, obviously. And we've been talking, like, every day since then, actually. So it's been kind of cool. So not that you guys probably care too much about that stuff. But I think, you know, one of the reasons we're doing this podcast is we thought it'd be a cool way, basically a good excuse to, you know, kind of keep in touch. So
Yeah. Something that we clearly needed because we were shit at it otherwise.
right, exactly. I want to bring something up because Frank, going back to that that bachelor party, one thing that during that bachelor party, my buddy Frank here had all of his fingers, and then we started all talking in a group chat, and all of a sudden Frank like showed a picture of his hand, and he had a nub on one of his fingers. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was just hanging out with you in person not too many months ago, and now you're, like, missing a finger. So, you want to tell that story, man? I know it's super disappointing because he doesn't have a webcam right now. He's going to hopefully have one by next episode, but, and he can prove it. We're not just making this up. He actually
I still have...
I won't get into details. Yeah. You can tell. You can tell.
So a couple weeks after the bachelor party,
still drunk.
Still drunk, yeah. Yeah. I got called into work early, had a machine to fix, and I did something stupid, even though I had done it literally probably 30 times before or more. And finger went in the wrong place and just completely gone.
What a classic story.
That's
just how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looked a little more than the tip to me.
Not enough to get the big money. I basically got screwed over. So when they do the amputation, if they don't do it past the first joint, it's considered a laceration, even though they technically bring out like snippers and snip the bone and shit and amputate it. Yeah, okay. No, it's considered a laceration if it's before the first joint. So if you're gonna lose a digit, lose the whole thing, guys. You'll get more money.
Yeah. So how did that work? Did it just you file it on your insurance, or did your work do something, or how?
Workman's comp, and it's taken forever. And of course, because of quarantine, you can't go in front of the judge.
Right.
You know, so who knows? Whenever I'm going to get, I don't know, the $3.50 that they owe me for, never being able to type properly, ruined trigger finger, can't pick my nose anymore. That's a big disappointment.
You said sometimes you have that phantom limb syndrome, right? Yeah, that's fun. You guys know what a hangnail feels like, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay. So sometimes I get a feeling of like a hangnail, and there's no fingernail there, but I got the hangnail feeling, so that's it sucks.
Sounds like fun. And you still have the finger, right?
Yeah, I kept it. I preserved it. I think I've sent you guys pictures. Yeah, I preserved it.
Oh, yeah.
You have.
I preserved it the wrong way.
Go ahead, explain.
I put it on
it looks like a piece of a mummy.
Yeah, I didn't think it was real. Like the first time I saw it, I don't know. I think it's because I was just hanging out with you and I saw all your fingers, so I was really weirded out by it.
No, so it looks like something you would see at the National Museum of History. Looks like a mummy's finger.
It does. It still has a fingernail.
Yeah, a fingernail
should we show it? I think we should show it.
We will.
Maybe, no, we'll ask.
We will.
We'll ask. Let's ask. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Do you want to see Frank's preserved finger that he changes the salt out, I think, once a week, you said? Yeah,
once a week, just to get all the moisture out. Because
right.
I'm going to put it in a bowling ball plug, and it might end up in a bowling ball.
So, like, instead of a rose, you're going to have just a thumb in the middle.
Just the tip, yeah. Yep.
It'll be like a really shitty version of the bowler from Mystery Men.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. Instead of her father's head.
I'm excited about that. Right. Or the rose from Kingpin. That's what I was getting at too.
Oh yeah.
But a thumb's way fucking better. Let's be honest. Frank, didn't you say something about an ad read?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird that we just started. We haven't even really started this podcast, but we already have sponsors, guys.
A lot of
crazy.
interest.
Yeah, we're going to be a hot product, and
We turned down most of them.
It's true. But we got about 5 companies here, but I'm just going to pick one of them right now, and then Uncle Jed's Moonshine Mouthwash. Okay, we're in Missouri, and he's in Brooklyn, but this place is out of Tennessee, but it's weird.
I think he just muted himself. Frank! Frank? I think you muted yourself, bud.
Oh, it's all broken now.
What was that?
There you go. You muted your
There you are.
right after you said moonshine, I think, basically.
I didn't press anything.
It was muted. You found a hotkey somehow with your phantom limb.
You want to try running up to that again?
All right. Uncle Jed's Moonshine Mouthwash. It's the only mouthwash that is proven to act as a replacement for a dentist. For when you want to forget about your bleak existence in Appalachia, numb your toothaches, and your teeth will never have to be pulled again. They just fall out. And now they have fun-sized bottles for your kids. And that's Uncle Jed's Moonshine Mouthwash. Look for it at your nearest discount smoke and liquors.
And do we have a discount code for that, or?
Yeah, that would be HOVA.
No. Gravy wheels. We're sharing that money.
That's right.
Yeah.
You get 10% off, listeners, and we get 30% of
It's
the
a
total
good product.
cost.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah.
a good product. I use it at home,
Highly
and
recommend.
like I said, now it's they have it in fun-sized bottles for your kids too. So
Every bottle you
Perfect.
buy, they actually send us 30% of the bottle.
Yeah. Not just the money, but of the bottle itself. So
Yeah,
the backwash
pretty sweet
part,
deal.
the part that you guys don't want.
that's right.
And they signed that before we even had an episode to show them. So, I mean,
That's how much faith they have in us.
yeah. Huge shout out to them. Huge shout out.
Thanks, Uncle Jed.
Fucking thanks. So, I think we should get into story time. I think people are gonna still want to know more about Andrew and Frank, Hova's crazy friends from the past. What's one thing that sticks out in your mind, Andrew? You remember any of the crazy shit we did back in the day?
God.
Sorry to put you on the spot. By the
No,
way.
no, yeah.
Frank, feel free to interject.
I mean, there's
There's so many.
So-
It's like, where do
it's
we
funny.
start?
It's funny because it's like so much of it at the time it seems like very mundane. So much of the shit
At the
that we ended
time,
up
no,
doing.
yeah, I totally agree.
Like I do remember finding a TV on the side of the road and then blowing it up.
I don't specifically remember that, but I'm sure that we did.
Oh, you don't?
No, I really don't. But we blew so much. God, this video is getting so flagged, but we blew so much shit up in my high school time. So,
Well, I mean, like out in the country, people have guns. Like that is
yes.
that is a
that is
fact
true.
of life.
That is, yes.
It was just recreational pyrotechnics. Okay, that's all it was. It was just recreational pyrotechnics.
It was. The
Yeah, but to a city kid, it was very
culture
scandalous.
shock a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, I knew of guns from like video games and television, but not handling them in person typically.
Yeah, we broke in quick on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, that changed pretty quickly.
Flashbacks to the time that we were sitting around a campfire at my house in the backyard. And so as recreational, I'll have to, like, I don't want to toot my own horn and Frank's horn too much, but we were pretty good recreational pyrotechnicians as well. I think because we had probably been doing it since we were like 11
Yeah,
or
you
some
had a lot
shit.
of experience.
Right. Started small, went a little more large scale as we went. But I was getting into a new genre of, debauchery, whatever you want to call it. I found out about dry ice bombs. And, so I we must have got, I don't know if you guys went with me. We went to Walmart, scored some dry ice, and had some alcohol, which I don't know how we got at the time because none of us were legal drinking age, I don't think.
No.
Right? No, we wouldn't have been. Yeah. Totally throwing ourselves under the bus here. But sitting around the campfire, just, having some good old boy time. And I decided to make one of those dry ice bombs, which I won't go into detail, but it involves a plastic bottle, just a soda bottle. And I made it and shook it up in my hand because it depends on how you do them. And again, I was like a novice, not even amateur in this.
Yeah.
He did it some way where it created more gas way too fast.
Right. It depends on how much. It depends on how you do it. Sometimes you have to shake them. Sometimes you don't. It's not a good idea to shake it at all. But long story short, I shook it with the intention of throwing it shortly after shaking it. And it went off in my hand. And I remember, if you guys think of like the thick plastic around the mouth of a bottle, there was a piece of that embedded. I don't remember exactly where it was. It was somewhere in my arm. And yeah, after that, I don't think I ever messed with dry ice again. I think I was kind of done with that.
That also did not interrupt the festivities at all, from what I recall.
Nope, not at all. Was it just us three?
Yeah, it was just. Yeah, no, it was just three of us. And if I remember right, we were burning railroad ties, if I recall correctly. Which we didn't realize at the time until it was like terrifyingly smoky and like disgusting smoke to be sitting in.
Yeah. We were sitting back by those old Chevelles on my property, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The van was out there.
You had another experience. I remember you threw another one of those bombs around and it just like it landed somewhere and then didn't explode.
And those are almost scarier than when they do go off in your hand.
Well, it's a lot scarier.
Almost.
Well, I mean, I remember sitting around very tensely for the next like 5 to 10 minutes, sort of waiting to hear the explosion. And then, of course, it happened like while one of us was in the middle of talking and like scared the shit out of me.
That was good times. That was one of our more mild nights too, probably, I would say, for sure.
I remember that night explicitly though because I had an ounce of blueberry cough.
Did we mention that Frank is our drug guy? Like if we were a news station and I was like the head anchor, that sounded really big-headed, and Andrew's like our sports guy.
Sure.
And then Frank's our drug guy. So
you know how news channels have those.
I dabbled a bit back in the day.
Dabbled.
And no, yeah.
Motherfucker failed a drug test and didn't make it on our senior trip. He's done everything.
A lot of stuff. I got kicked off of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. So anyways, you had an ounce of what? Some ditchweed?
No, blueberry cough. That shit was like $600 an ounce back then. That was like 2007, 2008. That was hard to come by in the middle of nowhere, Missouri.
That was back when no one had that shit unless you were in the areas where it was grown, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, that definitely came from California or Colorado.
Well, I remember like the first couple times I saw weed in my high school years, and which would have been like 2005-ish, around that time. It looked like nothing. I don't know, like whenever you saw weed in a movie, it was always like big pretty flowers, like big buds. And then like the first few times that I saw weed, I'm like, what? That looks nothing like the movies.
What is this?
Put that in my
sticky
pasta sauce.
This is wad of green bullshit.
Yeah. It legitimately just looked like spices. But Frank, he rolled around with the good shit. Which how the fuck did you afford that shit when we were like soccer juniors or whatever?
Don't you guys remember at one point I had even worked like 3 jobs during the summer in high school?
Taco Bell,
Dickie Doo, and then I did the soundstage at the state fair.
I didn't know I thought you didn't work at Dickie Doo until like after school.
No, it was before and after. I only did that like 2 summers.
Oh, okay. And what was the other one?
I did the soundstage at the...
Oh, yeah, for the fair, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that guy lose 3 fingers.
Jesus.
How'd that happen? Well, I don't remember that. What's that story?
It was at the end of the fair, and we put all the big truss work up into the back of the semi truck, and so you got like 5 or 6 guys like stacking that shit up on top in the back of the semi, and this old black dude like right in front of me. The guys behind us just pushed without like saying clear. Yeah,
Wow.
and you know where that ends up. So
Yeah.
that was maybe he got degloved, maybe they didn't get chopped off, but it was
At least
I
took the
quit
skin
after
off the
that.
bone or something.
I quit after that.
I
I swear
Go
that
ahead.
not every single episode of this podcast will involve like incredible finger trauma.
Yeah, right. I was about to bring up more. Actually, I've actually also seen someone lose a finger at the fair. The crocodile guy, the like Steve Irwin wannabe. You know, he had his booth that year. It was always in a different location. It was just like
Oh,
a pool with a cage around it, and then there was like seating, and it happened to be right outside the building where my grandma had a booth, and I was
Candy
helping
shop.
her. Yeah. So I was out there watching the show, and he's doing the whole open the gator's mouth thing, where they like hold the loose skin on the bottom, and then they've got their fingertips like right on that top, whatever, on a gator, and it was one of those things where like he slipped or whatever, and instead of just like pulling his hand back, he tried to like re-grip, and it just fucking got him. And he like looked at the guy, because there's always like the dude doing the thing, and then there's like a guy on the like, and this gator fucking snaps its jaws with 1,400 fucking pounds of whatever, and he looked at him, and like the guy on the mic realized that it got him, and he like dropped the mic real quick and had to go over there, and they like wrestled it for a little bit, and finally got his mouth open, and got the tip of his finger right off. Lots of finger trauma. We're sorry.
that's the story of Bob the Alligator King. Short career.
Yes,
The subtitle,
exactly.
the subtitle of this episode is going to be finger trauma.
I hope so. And on that note of apologies, we've never done this before, so we're just winging it, and but our goal is to just keep doing this, and for it to be a weekly thing. Hopefully, as much as we can keep up to that. We all do have our own shit going on, families and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do our best to be as regular with this content as possible. And you should be able to get this like anywhere and everywhere a podcast is available. We're gonna try to make sure that it's on all of the things. And again, all the links will be down in the description for anything and everything you need to know about. So.
Yeah, there will definitely be some growing pains, but look, think of this as an opportunity to sort of get in on the ground floor.
Oh yeah, like invest now, because we're gonna
right.
blow the fuck up. But
Literally give us your money.
we already have a Patreon. We don't. But
Speaking of
next
money,
week.
Andrew, don't you have a live read from one of our sponsors? You should be.
Oh god.
Yeah, I do have one right here. It's really weird that they just mailed it to me, though. It's not like in an email, and it's on a tablet.
And a pterodactyl dropped it off or something, you said?
Yeah. It left a big hole in the roof, and it just says
As they do.
Caveman brand fire from the makers of Wheel. That's all I got.
I'm down.
So thank you, Caveman brand fire.
Thank you. Thank you. Truly. Did they send us some?
No.
We're just endorsing it blind.
Yeah. Well, they sent me some. They sent me some very shiny rocks that I think I will be able to barter.
Okay. Well, you probably can't even do fire in Brooklyn anyways, so it's probably a good thing they went with
That's
the
true.
rocks.
Fire's illegal here.
Yes. Yeah. Fucking damn it, Trump.
So many cold meals. A lot of gazpachos here.
Gazpacho, huh?
Yeah. A lot of cold soups.
Ceviche.
I mean, it got you guys ready for the quarantine, I guess.
That's right. Ceviche, anything, yeah, cooked with acid.
Ooh.
I've
It
tried,
makes you proteins.
yeah, I've tried, like burning out my car tires on some steaks.
Okay.
Works okay.
Okay, yeah. Can't you just find food in the streets there?
Well, I mean, sure, but then you have to fight the rats for it.
That is true.
And they're a lot stronger than you are typically. Because they've been eating
Yeah.
better.
Aren't there like crazy videos of rats fighting various other animals?
there's all kinds of like crazy,
particularly New York rats.
there's all kinds of like crazy rat happenings. Like there's all kinds of rat myths. Of course, you know about our state mascot, Pizza Rat.
Okay, I don't actually, but
you don't?
no.
Oh man, it was this big viral story. I'm gonna have to send it to you. It was this big video that happened a couple years ago where it was a like cell phone footage of a rat dragging a slice of pizza down subway steps like into the subway.
Dude, that's some Ninja Turtle shit for sure.
Exactly.
Was he feeding? Yeah, was he feeding the Donatello and Michelangelo and all them? Or what?
It's uncertain. It's unclear what the rat did with the pizza.
That's a
pretty
big hunk
badass.
of pizza too. That is a wow.
It's a proper slice, a proper New York slice of pizza.
Proper, yeah, New York slice. Damn. I was listening to some podcast recently and they were talking about a rat that was like smart enough to he saw a trap, I guess, with like bait in it, and he used a stick, I guess, to set off the trap and then got the food.
Nice.
Which is terrifying, if I'm being honest, you know? I mean,
They
that's
are
the last thing
evolving.
we need to worry about these days.
You see that? You see those stories about like crows who are smart enough now to drop nuts into intersections and then pick up the like inside of the nuts after cars have run them over?
Jesus Christ. They're using us as tools. That's
That's
disgusting.
No,
And to be
see,
frank, we are tools.
That's true. Maybe it's our purpose.
I've seen that nut trick though before. That's not something new. That's not a new crow thing. That's exactly how my neighbors feed their kids. So the crows are stealing our technology.
Oh my god! They just throw like a sack of oranges into the road and wait until someone runs it over, and then the
Yeah,
kids
because
go to town.
you need to crack the oranges first.
Well, you know, I was trying to. I mean, what else would you do? You know, I guess fruit. I don't know. They got all kinds of fucking oranges these days because they're all bred to be seedless and all that bullshit. So God only knows what the fuck's going on in our produce section, man. It's fucking terrifying. We're all gonna get fucking asbestos off of lettuce and shit anyways, or whatever it is. It's not asbestos.
What?
I hope not. E. coli. There it is.
Two extremely similar things.
That it
Yes.
is.
They used to use E. coli to fireproof schools.
Mr. Asbestos Head. Is that like an old Mad Magazine joke or some shit? Mr. Asbestos Head?
Ugh. Just awful.
Hey, Joey, do you remember in the elementary school whenever we had, they had we had like a book club, like there was in the old gym.
I remember that bitch thumped me in the fucking head. Remember that? I don't remember what I did, but I just remember her walking over and fucking flicking me in the head like I was a piece of shit. Scarred me for life, dude.
I need context for this because I didn't join your merry crew until high school. So.
I remember her fucking name too, but I guess I won't say it. Anyways, what was the book club? I really don't remember any more of the story other than I probably did some dumb shit or said some dumb shit and she like walked over and fucking right like on my forehead.
So in the old gymnasium at the elementary school, there was
Oh,
seating
the rat
up on
bed.
top.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We had a book club up there, like a couple. I don't know, who knows why the hell they did it up there. It makes no sense if you
It's
think
because
back.
we never used it as seating for.
anything.
So,
The gym
pick-
was non-defunct.
Let's paint a picture for the
Yes.
listeners that
Yes,
don't know.
please.
So this gym, I mean, I'm assuming you saw it at some point, Andrew, even though you didn't go to the elementary. Did you ever see it or
I
no?
don't think so. No, I don't think I ever did.
So this
Just the one in high
gym
school.
is the fucking tiniest gym that I've ever seen personally. I would assume that it's like a regulation basketball court because there was a basketball court in there, but legitimately, I don't know how it ever even like passes a safety test because the walls are like a foot or less from the lines of the basketball court on all sides, except for the one long side, which would like normally be a school's visiting section.
Mm-hmm.
There's a stage for like,
And then
you know,
they
for like a
then
play or
walled in.
whatever.
They then walled
Yeah.
in though to put a music class.
Right, exactly. They made it into a classroom eventually. So there's just literally a wall there. Like I said, like I want to say a foot. It might be less. It always seemed to me like it was like 6-8 inches, something like that. It's like incredibly close. And then on the other side was another brick wall, but then for some reason there's like a 6-foot brick wall. Yeah, something like a 10-foot fucking brick wall. And then the seating started. on the home side.
So you're
But
like
I'm-
down in a pit.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they always just used any sporting event that ever happened. They would just use the high school. I don't remember ever seeing or hearing about an event where there was people sitting up there. So yeah, they turned it into some like weird, like I don't know. It was a super creepy reading club area
And
or something.
They had like bean bags and bookshelves and shit up there, but we had like copies of Mad Magazine somehow. Do you remember the copies of Mad Magazine?
I don't actually.
Incredibly irresponsible.
Yeah, for us. I blame the schools.
I mean, that's why we all turned out the way we turned out, probably. God damn it.
Our last 2 years at the elementary school, we were in trailers.
Yeah. Yeah, we were. Yeah. But it was because they were building on to the school, so the trailers were like temporary. But we didn't have access to the actual building itself unless we like walked all the way around the outside of the building into the school to like use the restroom or eat lunch or see other people. So it was kind of traumatizing a bit. Yeah, we had a water fountain though that I got banned from in the 6th grade
yeah, you did.
because I would notoriously belch every time after I had a drink. I don't know if I have a condition. I just swallow too much air because I'm a fucking idiot or what. I was probably, showing off a little bit and everything too, but I would always burp after I got a drink. And yeah, so she fucking banned me from the water cooler, I think, for the rest of the year. I almost flunked out 6th grade too.
I feel like it would actually take effort to get banned from a water fountain. Like there had to be intention at some point.
Yeah, I probably gave a little bit of intention. I would assume.
And they were so cold in there. He was denied heat and water and a restroom.
Technically, he's not lying. Were you were in that class with me, or were you in the other one? I don't remember, Frank.
I don't remember.
Well, who
That's
did
whenever
B? Was there? Should we say? I mean, does it matter? Is anybody gonna like fucking look her up? Is she still a teacher out there?
Names, but there was a big one and a skinny one.
The skinny one, the skinny tall one was mine.
I was
the second trailer. Okay.
Yes, the back,
me too.
The back trailer. The trailer in the back.
Okay, so we were both in the same. Yeah. All I remember in that trailer was not learning, but counting pennies or pop tabs.
Pop tabs. Disgusting.
With the Ronald McDonald Pop Tab charity thing, we would I think it was like every Friday. We would get to count, instead of like doing normal work, we would fucking count pop tabs all fucking day. It was like a sweatshop, I swear to God. It was just like trash bag after trash bag full of fucking pop tabs. And we would count these goddamn pop tabs because they were worth a penny each or whatever. And yeah, we would just sit there, and then we would get to listen to the radio too. Do you remember the song that came on, Frank, that got us banned from the radio?
Probably Sugar. Crazy Town's
Butterfly. Sugar, baby. Yep, that song, whatever that shit is. Yep, I will never forget that song coming on, and her face was like, when she realized like what the lyrics were about, and we were all like, ah! And she turned that shit off, and it never came back on. But it was good times.
Who's gonna get that like butthurt over a song that's on public radio?
Her. She was a tight ass, like just total square. Yeah, it was bad. Which and Frank and I being in that environment, you can imagine. We didn't.
Sure.
We
probably
clashed
didn't make
a little
it easy
bit.
on her.
No, not exactly. But we made it, man. That's all that matters. I remember having a sit down with my mother and her, and she was basically like, "Look, if he doesn't get his shit together, and start getting grades better than Fs, then he's gonna stay here, and all his friends are gonna go to high school next year." And I was like, "Fuck." And then I got my shit together and obviously made it to high school. So you're welcome, because you guys wouldn't, maybe we wouldn't be doing the gravy wheels.
It's a real touching story.
Thank you.
Of one person finally making it to high school.
I barely made it, goddammit. Barely.
It's not like I can talk shit though. My academic career was not anything to write home about.
Dude, I honestly forgot that you didn't graduate until Frank brought it up the other day.
Yeah, to let you kids in at home, I failed my junior year. No, I failed my senior year. Then I had two senior years, and I ended up dropping out halfway through my second one because I was just real tired of this shit.
Yeah, understandably.
So
I mean, with the shit that you went from and then went to, obviously that's no excuse to just like fucking give up or whatever, but I can definitely see it being hard, you know?
No, but I mean, it was my fault. I mean, it was like...
I remember you sleeping a lot.
I did a lot of sleeping in class. I did a lot of sort of intentional dicking around. I was also like, people just assumed, like, I was also like a pretty, like a, I wouldn't say straight edge, but I was like not a kid that like got into shit in high school.
Same, for the
most part, until later.
Fuck you, Frank.
But, but like, at that time, people made assumptions about me based on like, when I moved out to there, I had like long hair, wore flip flops all the time.
And
what?
And don't even, you know.
No, I wanted what? That I had a bowler hat? It was a gift from my then girlfriend, and I was very happy about it.
Yep. Yes, he was, and he wore it every single day to school. During school.
That is not true.
That's how I remember it, goddammit. Every single thing.
We had a spirit week at school.
That's what it is, because I always see that picture and I'm like, oh, yep, there's Andrew and his fucking bowler, as always.
The way it was set up was that every day you could wear a hat, but each day had a different theme, so you were supposed to wear a different hat that matched the theme for that day.
And it was our class day.
That's right.
And it was black and white.
And for the whole week, I just kept coming up with new reasons why a bowler worked for that day's theme.
Okay.
The principal did call me into the office one day though, where it was a sports themed day. So all the caps we were wearing were supposed to be sports themed, and he was like, "Okay, tie this to sports." And I was like, "It's the Celtics mascot," and he was like, "They're the Celtics." And I was like, "It doesn't matter. I'm still right."
Oh, shit.
And it was pretty clear that he just didn't want to fucking fight with this asshole teenager and let me get away with it.
He was pretty cool though. Like he would bust your balls when he needed to, but for the most part, he was like, I don't fucking care what you guys do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the talks you guys got. I got the Frank. I'm very disappointed in you.
Says
so
the
much
guy
better
that
than
would
this.
fucking. How many times, honestly, did you come to school with drugs?
On me or in the parking lot in my vehicle?
I mean, that answer right there kind of sums it up, you know? I mean, but sure, elaborate if however you want to.
I never sold drugs. I never forced anybody to do drugs.
You're
I
right.
did drugs. I did not do that.
Mountains of them.
Yeah. So let's go into a Frank story. You guys can tell from your perspective because I know my truth. Okay.
Why do I feel like we're getting set up for something here?
The video game Prey.
Sure.
Yes.
Fill everybody in on that time.
So I think some of these listeners might already know a bit of this story because this is a story that I've told a lot of people over a lot of the years. I mean, let's be honest.
That's my IP. You're what?
Yes. I've never sold t-shirts, asshole. Okay, I've just mentioned the fact that we may or may not have been playing.
You get the cut.
That's true. God damn it. We'll figure that out. But so I grew up going over to Andrew's a lot. Like a lot. I didn't have high-speed internet at my house. Andrew did. He was the golden child with the internets. So we ended up congregating at his house a lot, mostly because my house was a shithole. My mother basically is a hoarder, and it was all, I mean, regardless of how she was, the house was fucking like the size of this room. And
it was itty bitty.
Frank's house was scary because of his dad. So we would end up at Andrew's all the time. Anyways, we were hanging over at Andrew's one night, and I believe I was playing Prey. I don't know if Andrew was just watching, or you were probably playing whatever your own shit.
Probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
This might have even been before I had an Xbox 360, because there was a while there where you had one and nobody else did.
Oh, really? So maybe we were just all huddled around, like, super awkward, just watching one person play. So, so I'm playing Prey. If you guys don't remember, they just did a new Prey. like same IP or whatever, but it was kind of a totally different thing. I think I can't remember how the newest one is,
They
honestly.
have like they're like the same title, but I don't know if they have
Yeah.
any like tie-ins. They're not really related at all.
Yeah, they're like same but different, you know, like James Franco. Anyways, so the one that we were playing back in the day was like very spiritual. You were, I believe, like a Native American character, and a lot of it was like about like the spirit and like I remember there was like a hawk or something, I think, and you could go into like these trippy modes where you could walk on the ceiling, and there was like maybe even elements of magic. I can't remember exactly.
There was like some non-Euclidean geometry going on in it. Like this was before Portal came out, so like
Yes.
seeing a hole in something that like
Was nuts.
opened up into a massive other space was like very confusing at the time. It was very new.
Right.
It was very novel.
If you're sober.
Sure.
Yes, and then basically, Frank just saw it as a really good time to. He happened to have drugs on him, and they just happened to be acid, and yeah, so he dropped some acid, and he was enjoying it quite a lot, watching us play through Prey, which was an experience, I'm sure, in that mindset. And I just remember sitting there playing, and at one point he like stood up on top of your futon, I think, to reach at first I'm like, the fuck is going on? And then I realized that he had unscrewed the light fixture thing to gather dead moths inside the light fixture to eat them while he was tripping on acid. And that's a night that I will never forget. I'm looking up the Frank, feel free to elaborate on that.
Yeah, so that's not what happened at all. I know my truth. That's their side of the story, but that's I don't think that's exactly what happened. Like he said, we always congregated at Andrews because he had like the fastest internet somehow.
Yeah, even though I lived in the shittiest town, I did have the best internet.
BitTorrent for days. I would just go over there just to pirate stuff. And so, I don't know, I had a few hits of acid on me, and one of my favorite ways to do it was put the tabs in a water bottle, shake it up, let it sit, shake it up, and then just chug it. And a couple hours later, I remember, it'd be funny if we made Frank play Prey, and I tried to play the intro of Prey, and I had a mental breakdown, and I could not do it.
So Prey was inflicted upon you.
Yeah, I was the victim in this story.
So you were forever scarred by that.
I have very little recollection of this story, so I'm just taking it in.
And it happened at your house. Oh,
No, I
can
know,
we
but all
also...
things-
Let's let Andrew explain why that situation was even more taboo in the setting of it, just the fact that it was your house.
Can we?
Or can we?
No, it's fine.
You don't have to. Don't. If you don't feel comfortable, that's fine.
My at the time, the house that I lived in, where all this was taking place, was a parsonage, and so any kind of debauchery that took
Any at
hold
all.
there was even worse than.
He thought about it every time he masturbated.
That's right.
Every
Still do.
time.
Got a weird burning sensation. It kind of helped.
So I had to look it up just because I was curious. It looks like Prey came out in North America July 11th, 2006, and Portal came out October 10th, 2007. Very, very good. You nailed it, man. I wasn't sure. I knew it was close. I did not believe you, but I just had to see it for myself.
I just have memories of when Portal coming out and being like, I've seen this exactly one time before.
Right.
But it's like in Portal, the whole gimmick is that you can control where that shit goes. But in
Right.
Prey, it's just like part of the environment. It's just sort of how the
Portal
game
was
is
so fucking like mind blowing when that shit came out, man. So fucking good. The orange box, just everything in the orange box was fantastic. Let's be honest.
Still one of the like absolute greatest deals in video gaming history.
Yeah, wasn't it $20 or was it like 40? I think it was
I don't
20.
know.
Wasn't it?
Well, even no matter how much it was, you still got like Team Fortress and
That's
Portal.
true. Even if it
and
was a
Half-Life
$60
2.
title.
Did it come with
Because Team
Counter-Strike
Fortress
also?
2 was also... Was it? I can't remember. But Team Fortress 2 was like... that was a full-on multiplayer experience. I think that was what I mostly got it for, is because I was like I'm all about the shooters, and I just wanted to play that. And then Portal, I love those, like, in gaming, those experiences are some of the best. Whenever you buy something with the intentions of, you know, like focusing on this, and then you're like, holy shit, this is fucking great, you know? Like the only other time I remember that happening was with Crackdown. You remember why everyone bought Crackdown specifically?
Didn't it come with like a demo for something?
Yes. For a
Came with a demo
pretty
for like Halo 3
big,
or some shit.
yeah, Halo 3 beta, multiplayer beta is what Crackdown came with. So everybody was like, oh, I don't give a fuck what this game is. I'm buying it because Halo 2 was obviously like the biggest fucking success ever at the time. And yeah, everybody bought that shit. And then Crackdown was actually like really fucking good. You know, it was like a fresh spin on GTA. And there was like, what I loved about it was the they kind of took the like weird side objectives part of GTA. Like with GTA, you had the hidden packages, which was like cool, but it was just a package at the end of the day. But they did the same thing with the orbs. And if, you know, as you collected the agility orbs, obviously you'd get more agile. You'd climb higher, jump further, whatever, all that shit. And like specifically, I remember getting to the top of the agency building, which was the highest building in the game, was one of the achievements. And like, obviously you couldn't do that unless you fucking maxed out all your shit. So then you get out all your shit max, you get the achievement for getting to the top, and then there was another achievement for jumping into like a small puddle of water at the base of the fucking tower. There's just so many cool things that game did right. The sequels were kind of, but...
Well, that was like around the dawn of achievements too, and I remember Crackdown had this too because it had a specific sound effect that would play every time you would pick up one of those orbs.
Yep.
And so I remember really specifically the like dopamine hit you would get when you would hear the sound from either getting one of those early achievements or picking up one of those orbs.
They did a really good job of just making it satisfying, you know, making you feel like you really accomplished something. It was done very well.
I was just thinking of other. Do you remember the game Zone of Enders? It was a PS2 game.
Yes.
No.
Well, the only reason anybody bought it was because it came with the demo for Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't remember it.
Exactly.
Was it PlayStation? I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was a PS2 game. It was
like a mecha. It was like a mecha game. I think it was.
Don't mind me. Just going to the liquor store.
Say with
Frank and I.
It was a mecha game, and I don't remember if it was cell shaded or not. But I remember playing it. I can't remember anything about it, but it was something. It was a mecha game. It was it was like a spacey mecha type game.
Yeah, it was like it had a kind of a distinct visual style, but it wasn't cell shaded. It also was notable for all of the the cockpits for the giant robots you were flying around. All their cockpits were like in their crotch and were very clearly like massive phalluses.
Nice.
Google it.
Sounds like something I'd be into.
Go to Google and type in massive phalluses.
Oh,
Zone of Enders will come right up.
He doesn't even have to go to Google. That's bookmark, bro.
That's true. I think Frank and I almost spent more time on demos than we did actual games, like in our early years.
We did. PlayStation demos were a heavy part of our childhood.
They were, man. We were just talking about that the other day. What was the one like mech game or whatever? Not, it wasn't mech. It was like an overhead view. You know what I'm talking about?
Silent Bomber. It was Silent Bomber.
Oh my god, dude. We would just. I remember that shit being so hard, like so hard. I mean, we ended up getting better at it because we played through the demo like 1,000 times, like legitimately. But man, that game was fun, man. It was basically just like a spam shooter or whatever, right?
It was
I'm trying to think
like
what the gameplay looked like.
It was like a weird shooter Bomberman thing, and you were fighting like mechs and stuff. Later on I bought it, and it was absolute dog shit.
That's how that shit goes. The stuff that you remember being amazing, and then you go back to it, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time. I remember playing Jet Moto too, demo, just for way too long.
Yeah, and that was like 99, 2000.
Twisted Metal 3 or 4, one of the two. It was like an hour-long, 40-minute demo or something. We would just play it over and over and over and over.
I think 4 was on PS2.
Was it? On PS2? That sounds too.
I think 4 was technically Twisted Metal Black.
Oh, really? I thought there was Twisted Metal 4.
Maybe? I don't know. All right, I'll do a Google.
But in other news,
yeah, Yeah, there was a
Somebody
legit
other-
4.
No, there was. You're right. I was wrong.
We had found at one point though is at some point somebody rented a copy of like GTA or GTA 2 because we couldn't buy it. Somehow, like somebody, like my brother rented it or something like that. But we found out that if you played it and at a certain spot, if you opened the disc up, the top up, you could pull the GTA 2 disc out and you could keep playing forever until you shut the game off.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we did that a lot.
Yeah, so Frank was kind of like our hacker buddy. Like, he wasn't too deep into the weeds or anything, but there was definitely some shit that he could do that I like didn't have a grasp of. I remember
Yeah.
I remember specifically Frank, we were in a speech class. Were you in that class, Andrew?
You're gonna have to give me more.
It was just it was a speech class where we had to write speeches and then perform a speech in front of the class. And you probably were asleep if you were in there, but
I don't recall taking speech in high school.
okay, yeah. Well, we did because we were forced to. I think it was counted as like an English credit or whatever, but more or less, like I don't think Frank and I would have been in there if we didn't have to be. But I remember Frank brought a Sega Dreamcast, and his speech was like, we would always find ways to kind of like bullshit around the actual assignment and just do something that we wanted to do.
I had
And-
the Dreamcast with all the EMU discs.
Yeah, you brought in a Dreamcast, and your speech was an informative speech, is what it was. Your loophole was like you presented the class like, this is how you play ROMs and emulators on a Dreamcast, and it was fucking badass. It's like we're sitting there in high school, and you figured out a way to get a grade, for an English credit on playing video games, essentially.
Pirating.
And pirating, yeah.
Pirating.
Yeah. Right, that too.
I
didn't
still
think
have
of it
that.
way.
I still have that Dreamcast too.
Fuck yeah, dude. Because Dreamcasts were awesome. They could, if you guys don't know, anything will boot on a Dreamcast. They didn't put security on it at all.
protection.
Literally CD-ROMs. You could burn ROMs and emulators. Wait, didn't you have to put the emulator on one disc and boot it up on that, Frank, and then put in the emulator's disc? Wasn't there something like that?
No, I think
Oh.
that was what we had to do for the PlayStations.
Oh, okay. But still, yeah. The Dreamcast, man. Good times. Good times. Frank and I were also in a gifted class because somehow Wait, you were in it, right, Frank?
Yeah, until I got fucking kicked out.
That's right. Yeah, you got kicked out of so much shit. So get this, my dumbass somehow, supposedly, they told us, like, they called us all over the intercom, I think, to like
Fucking
a room. And
bullshit.
we thought we were in trouble or some shit, and then we heard some of the other names they were calling. We're like, what? This is like the goody two-shoe, like, smart kids. And we get in there, and they tell us that we scored over a certain percentage on a test. Was it the map test? I don't remember what test it was.
No, it was just a goddamn scam, and I got kicked out.
It was some sort of a I think they just needed two like normal people in with the other people. But anyways, we ended up in this gifted class, and we found out a way real quick to turn that into, we would literally bring Game Boy Advances every day, and System Link on Game Boy Advances, which
The fucking cable.
some of you some of you young bloods might not know that that's a thing, but you could actually System Link a Game Boy Advance and play Mario Kart Circuit. And not only could you fucking System Link that shit, you didn't even need 4 cartridges. You could only use one. Now you were limited to, I think, four tracks. And if you had all of them, then you could access the other maps and shit too. But man, we would just sit there and fucking play Mario Kart every day. It was fucking amazing. I loved it.
I got kicked out.
How?
Yeah. We were in one of the computer labs. Not
I remember the
main-
teacher didn't like you. The specific teacher.
Yeah.
Imagine
And I don't know. Something happened, and I think I hid under a computer desk because somebody was like trying to punch me or something, and I got fucking kicked out. And I know who it was. We're not going to go into that. That's why Mr. Kicked
The
me out
Spanish
of that.
teacher.
Yeah.
You're not saying it
kicked
was...
out of that.
It wasn't me trying to punch you.
No, it wasn't you. It was somebody else.
Okay.
I'm not going to bring up their name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
and
I'm curious.
What else did I get kicked out of?
You almost got kicked off being the TA for our gym coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole story, the whole life story is just being removed from things.
Yep, pretty much. That's.
But I'm not a bad guy. I don't do criminal things. I mean, I just.
Well,
I mean, yes. Yeah, but I don't rob people. I don't, kill kids. I don't have a collection of small children's shoes in my closet. Or
I think
anything
everything
like
you're
that.
saying right now is more self-incriminating than it is anything else.
yeah.
Do you remember whenever I got kicked off of all of the school networks for a year?
Yes, because you sent a message to everyone in the school, every computer in the school,
And the
and they
elementary
didn't, and that was scary to them. They did not know how to handle that. You have to understand. Again, there was 30 kids in our entire fucking class. So there was like, I think between the elementary and the high school, there was, there's a few hundred people, staff included.
bullshit.
So when Frank hacked the network and sent a fucking text message that popped up on every system in the school, teachers' computers, student computers, everything, it wasn't a good. It was very scary. I don't even know if did we have like a IT guy at that time?
It was somebody's mother who was not very tech oriented. Supposedly she was, but she was not. So the message that I sent, by the way, was "Hola, ¿cómo está? Is anyone out there?" And that went to the high school and to the elementary school. I'd like to say that I was also using some of my Spanish class to this.
You
And
were.
It's true.
I
It is.
I just poked a hole in their network security, and I got banned for computers for the rest of the year. So I could not touch a fucking computer. I was like that guy in Swordfish.
I mean, at least, if we're being honest, like, you didn't do... Yeah, you just were like, hola, como esta. You could have sent, like, a dick pic or, like, some lemon party shit,
Which was
to everybody, but...
certainly coming at some point.
Oh, yeah. It's gonna happen.
I did nothing wrong. I feel my entire childhood, I've just been persecuted for being smarter than your average monkey, and whatever. That's bullshit. I got kicked off of everything. Thanks for bringing up these fucking repressed memories.
That's what this is for. It's like our therapy, too. It's free.
Yeah.
Think of it that way.
Except you guys can't give me medication.
Technically. Legally.
Not the kind I need.
But if
Okay.
any listeners out there have any prescription drugs, keep them
Stop.
to yourself because sharing drugs is not okay.
We don't have a P.O. box yet anyway, so... Soon. Maybe by next
No.
couple episodes we'll figure that out.
No.
No?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, maybe not. Yeah, so these assholes both bailed on the senior trip. I had to go all by myself.
Bailed is like a strong way of putting that.
Maybe not.
I was
so
not
much.
allowed to go because my grades were terrible.
A dog shit. Yeah.
Yes.
We all, let's be honest though, it wasn't, I think we all kind of went through that. I don't know what Frank's grades were like actually, but I know I had that situation come up with football. They were like, you got to be a little bit better on your grades if you want to keep playing football, and then I had to get my shit together for that. And that, if I honestly, like, I always think back to that. If I didn't have football, man, I wouldn't have given I would have been probably in the same boat that you were in. I would end up doing my senior year over just like you did.
I remember there was one year, I can't even remember which year it was that I was there, but they had a really strict attendance policy.
Yes.
And if you missed more than 10 days, you were, like, eligible to lose all of your credits for that semester.
Isn't that what it was? I think you missed more days than your grades were bad, wasn't it? Like, you missed a lot.
I mean, both were the problem. There was one specific
Right.
year where I did have to, like, come in to, like, a board meeting or whatever and, like, argue that I should be able to keep my shitty grades.
Just because keeping them would be better than them being just, like, nullified?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, I'll take the 2 C's I got, and they're,
Right.
I'll just carry
And
those on. But
PE and...
Yeah, I'm like,
and
well,
art.
like I'm already, like, my grades are shit. It's like, why would you penalize me even further? I've clearly, like, done all the damage to myself already.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
kind of ludicrous that
I honestly think that you got a little bit of the stick of like you were the weird outsider kid, you know what I mean? And like
Who hung out with the pyromaniac and the drug addict?
exactly. Yeah, so and let's be honest, man, that school district, if like outsiders would get pushed out, even if it was like unintentional, you know what I mean? It's definitely a thing where sometimes when new people came in, if not everybody even just understood, you know, that person and kind of what they were about, it seemed like there was kind of a strong push of like, get the fuck out of here. So that probably didn't help your case either.
No, I remember.
Not that you were a bad kid in any other, you know, it's not like you were running around vandalizing or anything.
No. I was always like pretty good. I was never like, I don't ever remember like causing trouble or anything like that in school. I was just more asleep than anything else.
Or playing with your bowler hat.
Or not there.
Or not there.
Yeah. I liked the bowler hat. It's what defined you.
So did I.
It was fucking sick, dude.
I remember wearing a fake mustache to some school events too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Frank, I think, had like really long hair at one point too, didn't you?
The Sandberg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I rocked that a few years later up at the college with all the Air Force people, and they always would call me fucking Hot Rod. Hot Rod was my nickname to all the Whiteman people.
Dude, I mean, you fit that bill, though. Let's be honest. Can we just appreciate how fucking good that movie was, by the way?
It was
Hot
great.
Rod's fucking cool beans, man.
Super underrated.
Cool.
It's
Cool
so
beans.
fucking good. That was like before he was big, I think. I mean, I guess that movie specifically probably helped a lot, but
I have gone on to enjoy many Lonely Island things, but Hot Rod will always hold a special place in my heart.
what did I just watched something where he was like the older brother. And it was super fucking, like, his part was fairly minor, but it was really good.
Did you watch it? Did you watch the Unauthorized Bash Bros Experience?
No, what's that?
Yes, yeah.
You'll have to check that out. It's on Netflix. It's a half-hour long. It's a Lonely Island like music
Mocku-series?
visual album, I guess. But the whole concept is that Andy Samberg plays Jose Canseco, and Akiva Schaffer plays Mark McGuire, and it's about them like in
What
the
the
80s
fuck?
doing steroids and playing for the A's.
It's like a Mocku-series musical.
It's fucking great. It's really good.
I might have, what's it called? I've seen something about like
Bash
steroid
Bros.
use. What is
The
it?
Unauthorized Bash Bros Experience.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of something else, but yeah. That sounds like something I'd definitely be into.
Yeah. Just the music's great. The whole thing, it just works.
I mean, yeah, with him in it, I can't imagine it going wrong. There's been a lot of those like musical, like rock operas or whatever coming out lately. I don't really know what to think about them. I watched the the Piano Man or whatever. What's that one called? Rocket Man.
Oh yeah.
That
Okay.
one. That one was good. I don't know if you guys saw that.
The pianist?
Huh?
I'd like to see
No, Rocket Man. What the fuck? It's a
Rocket
good
Man
one.
starring what's his name?
Harlan Williams?
Thank you, Harlan Williams.
The old where he like, isn't there a scene in that where he like farts and the fart goes down the? Dude, that I couldn't with that movie.
The poster image for that movie was him in a suit that was like completely circular.
Yeah, because he farted,
He
right? That
filled
was
it-
like the whole.
Filled it with
Yeah.
his farts.
Is it actually a good movie? Because sometimes there's what I think of as a shitty movie that, you know, I'm like, I need to go back and give it another chance.
I never saw it.
Oh, okay. So
What?
it's probably shit.
No, if it was bad, then I definitely would have seen it.
He was all into the bad movies.
He was great in Half Baked. That was
He's
him,
great
right?
in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. I like him. He's good in a lot of things, man. You seen the new Dumb and Dumber?
No.
That's a big no for me.
That just like really took the tone to a new,
Well, I had to remember what you were. Did Jim
like
Carrey
the
come back
actual.
and do another one?
Yes, and
No, I did not. I did not see that one.
I have not seen it. I honestly don't have any intention to. I
Can
probably
we just
will
cut this
eventually.
part out? Let's just cut this part out because
We should probably.
that movie
It's
is just
depressing.
It is very depressing. I can't believe that even happened, to be honest. I think I'm just gonna leave the memory of the original, you know what I mean, and not tarnish it because fuck all that.
Leave it pristine.
I did see the one with like the young actors though, and that was really bad as well. Yeah, really fucking bad.
I think I saw that in theaters.
It wasn't anything to be excited about at all. But yeah. Well, guys, do you have anything to? Go ahead, Frank.
No. I was just on the topic of Harlan Williams. Puppy Dog Pals is a really good show for your children that he's a co-creator and voice on.
Okay.
So get your kids watching some Harlan Williams young.
I prefer the
take
Land
that.
Before Time series, all 36 of them.
I'd take that advice with a grain of salt, considering who it's coming from.
Yeah.
I don't get what does that mean?
Nothing.
Well, guys, I think we've come to the point where we're gonna call it a wrap for episode 1. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us idiots. And if you're interested in listening to more, definitely hit the subscribe button on the new channel and all the social medias and stuff like that. Also, please hit us up on our new Twitter account, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, comment section here, wherever you happen to be watching or listening. And let us know what you like, what you don't like. If not, Frank should show his severed mummified finger and all of the things. We're definitely looking for feedback is what I'm trying to get to, because obviously none of us have done this before, but we just want to do it for fun, and we hope that some of you guys, maybe a few of you, will tag along for the ride, basically. So anything you guys want to say?
I think that's it, man.
It's fucking all she wrote. Frank, you good, man?
Oh, I'm fantastic.
Fan-fucking-tastic, bud?
Yeah, I'm super duper. I'm just.
All right, we got to think of a sign-off. What's our sign-off? Gravy Wheels out on 3.
No.
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 I think we just let it peter out, sadly, and just kind of die.
I like somebody does something. One of them I listen to. They give the guest. We don't have a guest. Fuck. This idea is going bad. They let the guest say one word to sign it out. So Andrew, give us one word to end it on.
Spumoni.